What's up guys, Tweak from LetsGrindGames here, and I've had a few requests to make a video on how to make fishing boats, or what's the best way to make a fishing boat, or what way am I using to make fishing boats. Since I've had a lot of people ask me this question, I really want to jump into this and try to make a little easy tutorial trying to explain to you guys what's the best way to make a fishing boat, or the current way that I'm using right now. Maybe not the best way, but the way that I feel is best for me right now to make fishing boats, and pass that information on to you guys. Well, enough of the rambling on, let's get into the video and talk about the first step in order to making the fishing boats. Step 1 of making the fishing boats is towns and nodes. Which towns do you need to have connected, and which nodes do you need to have connected? The main two towns that you want to have connected are Calpheon and Port Opheria. A lot of people will say having all of the cities connected is a very beneficial thing, but I honestly think you waste a little bit too much contribution points investing in the entire city links. So we're just going to focus on Calpheon and Port Opheria here. So I'm showing you a few of the little nodes that you're going to want to get linked up, and we'll come back to Calpheon and we'll show you the exact link line right now. So from Calpheon, the first set of nodes that you want to link up are the ones leading towards Northern Wheat Plantation. You want Dyer's Farm first, and then you can hook up Dyer's Farm to Northern Wheat Plantation, and then from Northern Wheat Plantation you can link up Karuto Cave and Old Dandelion over at the right hand side there. This is the node line that you're going to want to take. Old Dandelion and Karuto Cave we will come back to later on why we need these nodes, but it's good to connect and invest in every single one of these nodes because we're going to need them later on. The second set of node links that you want to get linked up is Quint Hill. To get that linked up you want to do Abandoned Lands, which is just to the top left of Calpheon, Isolated Sentry Post, which for some reason doesn't seem to pop up any detail, and from the Isolated Sentry Post it's just a bit further up and we have Quint Hill. Again, another node that we're going to need for materials later on. We will come back to this node and explain why we need this a little later on, explain how we're going to be able to use this node. And the last but not least, to get the cities connected up, you want Isolated Sentry Post to go to Opheria Valley, Opheria Sentry Post, and then to Port Opheria itself. So they're the main couple of nodes that we need linked up. There is one more pathway which I'm going to show you right now, which is going to be another pathway you do want to link up, and I'd highly recommend doing this as well. It just my mic cut out there for a second. This pathway will increase the amount of materials you can get, giving you an extra node to farm from, which just makes the whole process a little bit quicker. So linking all these ones up down past the Mantra Forest, going to the Root Outstation is going to be something that you want to do for another node. Again, we'll come back to talking about the materials list, what we need, how to obtain them, after we've got all the nodes linked up, the cities linked up, and everything sorted. Alrighty then, since we got nodes and towns out of the way, let's focus on step 2. Step 2 of the video is going to be requirements and restrictions. What do you need in order to start crafting a fishing boat? What level of processing do you need? Is there a specific quest? Is there a specific level? Well, actually, yes there is. So, one of the first things we're going to need before we can even craft a fishing boat, now that we have all of the towns linked up, is a shipyard. Heading over to Port Opheria, if you click enter on the big blue icon you see on your map, it'll bring up a ring menu. You can enter Port Opheria and you'll see all these little houses. It's good to buy a lot of lodging in Port Opheria so that you can have workers, but the houses that we're looking for are 3.5, 1F and 3.5, 2F. 3.5 has a level 2 shipyard, which is the shipyard you need in order to be able to craft fishing boats. Definitely recommend investing in the Port Opheria shipyard too, and also another little place you can invest in is Port Opheria 221F for a tool workshop. We'll come to that maybe in another video, but just showing you that it's there. Try to focus on as many lodging places that you can get in Port Opheria so that you can have quite a lot of workers there, and definitely make sure to get the level 2 shipyard from 3.5 to F. So we've got Porphyria 3-5, 2F for the level 2 Shipyard. Now, that's one thing out of the way. We're going to need a bunch of contribution points to do this, obviously, as you need contribution points to invest in houses in cities, but I'm thinking you guys already know that. So right now, the only other thing that you can do is head over to Calpheon and try to buy as many lodging spots in Calpheon as you possibly can. This is where your crafting workforce is gonna be. We'll come back to that in the crafting video, but just a little heads up, once you've bought the shipyard, try to use as many contribution points as you can into buying lodging in Calpheon. We will need that. As for the second restriction, you need a pass before you can make the fishing boats. You need to be apprentice 4 and complete a certain quest line. So in Hydel there is a place where you can go at the far right side of Hydel, where you can speak to the workshop manager called Fisi. When you reach apprentice 4 in processing, she will give you a quest to go and speak to 3 people to do some processing quests. The 3 people are just down to the right hand side of Fisi, which is the furniture dealer, the arms dealer, and the material vendor. These will each give you a processing quest, one for water, one for lumbering, and one for mining. You complete these 3 quests and you will be able to make the required processing materials that you need to be able to make fishing boats. You need to complete these quests in order to be able to make apprentice 4 and higher processing materials. This is a need. Definitely do this quest or you will not be able to make any of the important things that are used to make fishing boats. Alright, now let's look at the nodes that we want to send our workers to. We have Karuto Cave and Old Dandelion, one for birch timber and tin ore. We have Quint Hill for another birch timber, and we also have Rutum Outstation for tin ore again. Also, you want to get your Port Etheria workers going to these nodes. Do not send your Calpheon workers to these nodes. You will find out why nearer the end of the video when we get to the crafting part. The other 2 nodes that you will need, which I didn't mention because you don't need the towns linked, which I'm mentioning now, are Imp Cave next to Valia for the copper ore, and just down from Valia is Hydel, and Hydel has a node at Moretti Farm, I believe it's called, that you get flax from in order to make the flax fabric we're going to need a bit later on. The reason I didn't include these 2 in the towns is because we don't need these towns linked, and I'd highly recommend leaving one of your characters in Valia to run back and forth between these towns to put the materials in the CM. Now you have a rough idea of where to send your workers and to what nodes. Let's see what you can do yourself as a player to help your workers gather the materials. We're over at Naga Marsh right now, and we're looking for a guy called Rama. This guy's not important whatsoever, we're just using him as a reference point. As you can see here, we have a mineable rock that's called Bryophyte. This rock, 80% of the time, it will give you tin ore. It's not 100%. It's only around 80% of the time this will give you tin ore. You will get other byproducts such as gold, platinum, lead, silver that you will get from it. But as you can see there, I got 4 tin ore and 2 rough stones. Using this as a reference point, I'm going to speed up the gameplay here, but hopefully you guys can see whereabouts my character goes, what he does, and how to find Bryophyte in this area a little bit quicker. I'll leave you with a little bit of a sped up version there, and I'll slow it a little bit down when we get to another important part of this area. I hope you guys enjoyed the little run around. This rotation is really good for getting your gathering XP up. You can process a lot of stuff when here, and you're also getting tin too. Also, just before I leave you with this clip, guys, I want to say I am sorry if this video is a little rough. I am feeling a little bit sick today. This is still my understanding of my first time playing the game, so I'm trying to make things that seem complicated to new players seem simple, and it's a lot harder to do than it seems. One thing I did notice when I was editing this video and rendering it back is that I didn't have a clip in the video showing how to make birch plywood and flax fabric. I cover the birch plywood a little later on, but what I say about the flax is a little bit weird, so if you hear this twice, I am sorry about that. But as for the flax, once you get to Hydel and you have Hydel and Moretti plantation linked up so that you can send a worker from Hydel to the plantation to get your flax for you, the way you make flax thread is by taking normal flax, grinding it down into flax thread, and then how to make flax fabric from flax thread is by heating up the flax thread to make flax fabric. I'm pretty sure you might need to be apprentice 4 and have done the quest for Fisi in order to be able to do this, but I just noticed that I didn't add that in there, and I'm honestly sorry that I didn't add it in there. It's a bit rough around the edges. I'm trying to get this out as quickly as possible so I can go and rest, because I feel really down today. I feel a little bit ill, and I'm honestly sorry about that. But yeah, it's a little bit of information on the flax that I didn't give out. I'm truly sorry about that. So on with the video. And also, just to show you guys why this area is good, I cut a little bit of a clip out there just so that I could get back around to the start. Why this area is so good for farming bryophyte is once you've done a full circle around, if you come back to Ramat, the first piece of bryophyte we mined is actually now mineable again. So I know it's been a pretty long video so far, and we are almost at the very end. There's a lot of information that we need to know, but there's 3 more things that we do not know how to get yet. We have the birch, we have the copper, we have the tin. So there's another couple of things that we're gonna need, which are pine sap, which you can get down at the Mancha Forest. It's a place that my stream knows all too well. So you take a fluid collector, come down to the Mancha, and 90% of these trees down here, apart from the ones that look like the Christmas trees, are pine trees. So you can get a bunch of pine sap from using your fluid collector. And also another thing that you want to do is bring a lumbering axe and mine every single one of these trees too. So you don't need the pine logs, you only need the normal logs. The normal logs are what you are going to be chopping down into usable scantling, which is something else that we need to make the fishing boats from this place. So there's two things we can get from this place: pine sap and normal logs for usable scantling. The only other one thing we need now is blackstone powder, and that's pretty much it. We can work on the processing of the extra stuff after that. So let's see how we get that. Alright guys, I know it's been a pretty long video. I've tried to make the information as simple as I can, but now that we have the stuff, the best thing we can do is work on making the actual ingredients we need. So you have copper and tin, you've melted them both down into melted copper shards and melted tin shards. Now you want to heat them both up together, so you can make bronze ingots. Bronze ingots is something we need to create fishing boats. It's another one of the materials we're gonna need, and we'll show you the list of the materials right at the end here, because as we're coming towards the final stages. The only other thing you're going to need is blackstone powder and birch plywood. I don't have a clip for birch plywood, I'm sorry about that, it kind of didn't save. The blackstone powder is really easy to get though. These magic crystals, what you're seeing here, what you use for transfusion, can be grinded down into blackstone powder. A lot of people will say not to use these, but these are really easy to farm, as you can go to the abandoned iron mine near Altanova, and you can find a lot of these crystals covered in black ash, and you can use them to grind down for your blackstone powder. The only other one thing is birch plywood, which, like I said, I didn't have a clip for it because it didn't record, but to get birch plywood, you literally just need to cut down birch logs into birch planks, and then cut birch planks into birch plywood. To be able to make the plywood, you have to do the Apprentice 4 processing quest that you get from Fisi, which we told you about earlier on in the video. Now, how do you apply and put all of these parts onto the boat license? Well, you have your shipping yard, you have all of your workers. You go to the shipping yard, and as you can see here on the left hand side, I have practically every single one of the pieces finished. Now, it did take a while to get all the pieces like this, but for an example, I'm going to show you how to apply the pieces on my very last piece that I need. The things you need are flax fabric, blackstone powder, pine sap, bronze ingots, birch plywood, and usable scantling. All things that we know how to get from the video. Flax fabric you use by getting flax thread, and you, I think, grind the thread down and then heat the thread up. I'm pretty sure. But to apply the workers to putting the things on the boats, as you can see, I'm clicking down my porphyria workers here, and at the bottom where it says birch plywood, it has a little 0, and then when I click on the level 21 human worker, it has a 4. That's because these two workers are located in different places. The one where it says 4, they are located in Calphion, and the ones where it says 0 are located in Porphyria. This goes by the materials that you have in the storage of that city. So I use Calphion as my workforce. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click change at the bottom here. Don't want to cancel that, I did that wrong. You want to change the amount that you want them to put on and click square to start the work. I only have 4 pieces left, so as you can see, I went and put 4 workers putting 1 piece on each. To make that a lot quicker, if you apply that method to the rest of them, like bronze ingots, we have 25 of them. If you get 5 workers all putting 5 ingots on at one given time, you're going to have 5 workers doing 1 piece every time they finish, and it's going to speed that process up. And you apply that method to practically everything else in the game when it comes to building the fishing boat. So if it's 30, you can have 6 people doing 5 at one time, or you can have 9 people all doing 3s and some doing 1s, whichever is better for you. But putting them on, using them efficiently, getting them all to do a certain amount of number instead of having one of them do all 30 is a lot faster for you to do. That is basically it for the end of the video, guys. I didn't want to make it too complicated, go too far into it and make it all like really extreme, but that's basically the gist of it. That's basically how to make fishing boats. I'm sorry if there was a few clips in there that was left out. My recording kind of bugged out. I don't have time to go back and do it as I'm feeling a bit rough today. Thank you all for watching the video. I hope this helped at least anyone make the fishing boat. If it didn't help you at all, then I'm sorry. I tried my best. I hope this works, and I hope this helps at least some people out, and thank you for watching the video. Remember, if you're new to the channel or this helped you at all, the best thing you can do to help support is to hit the like button and subscribe. Maybe even share the video if you feel like the video is useful. I really appreciate any support that you guys can give me, and I will see you guys tomorrow when I stream next. I do apologize that there's not going to be a stream today.